Now, overall, the thing that's killing the Yankees is analytics. Analytics-wise, Yankees praise it too much. You have Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner just loving up on the analytics department. And I feel like Aaron Boone does not have a big say of what goes on with the team because it's the analytics department running it. Now, I'm going to say a stat for us before we talk more about that. Last time the Yankees won a World Series, or even was in a World Series, was 2009. 2009. I was only 4 years old then. I'm now 16, so that was a long time ago, folks. Since 2010 to as of last night, the Yankees are the most winningest team in the American League East. They have won 1,124 games and have only lost 768. The Tampa Bay Rays, second winningest team. They are 965 and 825. Yankees have a huge gap, but yet they seem to just fail in the playoffs. What do you think of the analytics aspect?
I really think it's killing us. I'm not a fan of analytics. I know it works in certain situations.
Yes.
It's worked very well for Oakland. I mean,
Yes.
they're always competitive. But again, just like you said about the Yankees, Oakland always fails in the playoffs.
Yes.
Obviously, Tampa Bay is a big analytical team, and it hasn't gotten them a championship. I mean, look what the whole Snell thing in Game 6 last year. The World
Perfect
Series.
example. Perfect example.
It's just for us. We're not an analytical built team. We don't have but when you have a team of home run hitters, then you don't have a lot of guys that are designed to be they hit well against lefties that throw these kinds of pitches or whatever they're looking at analytically. They've got a home run hitting team, and that's tough to almost impossible, I feel, to run analytics with a team like that when you really only do one thing and you hit home runs, and it's tough to design a different lineup every single night. Plus, you don't get guys a lot of chances to get into a groove. I mean, we've talked about it over here ad nauseum about how many opportunities Brett Gardner is getting, and
Yes.
I love Brett Gardner for what he
Me
did
too.
for us earlier, but he's not that guy anymore.
He's
and
not.
It's almost becoming a running joke about how many at bats this guy gets when he's clearly being outplayed. But it's got to be the analytical department that just looks at it and goes, well, he's going to drive up pitch counts. He's not going to strike out a lot. He's hitting 190. It's time to move on. And I think Aaron Boone, I agree with you. I don't think he gets to make a lot of baseball decisions. And Brian Cashman has alluded to that in several interviews lately. That basically Boone is handed a lineup card every day, and that's just, to me, that's ridiculous.
It is. Aaron Boone is the manager. He should be managing the team. Brett Gardner, the only thing I like about Brett Gardner these days, now overall he's a career Yankee. Only team he's played on was with us in the 09 World Series. If you look at it stat-wise, he's in the top 25 for best Yankees of all time, but none of that matters right now. Frankly, to put it in any better words, he sucks. I think that's the best way to put it. He's batting 197 through over 200 at-bats. He should not be in the starting lineup daily. Only plus side of having Brett Gardner on your team is that he never gets injured. When do you ever see Brett Gardner get injured? But these days, that's it. He can't hit. He could barely draw a walk these days. He's somewhat fast. Defensively, he doesn't dive for the ball anymore. He allows those many one-hops that give other players so many hits. I just think he's just born out.
I agree, and that's why I think where analytics is even driving our decisions on not just the lineup card day to day, but even on the roster. Like the Allen kid just got sent back down.
Yeah.
And that's got to be an analytical decision, because when you watch him play, and again, I'm not pretending at all that he's the greatest center fielder we've ever had, but he's clearly better than Brett Gardner.
Oh, 100%.
Brett Gardner has no more trips to be used down in the minor leagues by any means.
Yeah.
But he's clearly playing at a starting center field level for the New York Yankees. But the analytical department, they just seem to have this love of Brett Gardner and what they think his bat can do, which maybe it could do that 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's no
this
excuse
wasn't
when
6
you
years
just
ago.
The eyeball test and watch Ian Allen play center field. There's a huge difference.
Huge. I think the biggest thing with all the young guys right now in the New York Yankees organization, I would bring them up. make some room, even if it's just 2 roster spots in the MLB. They don't need to play every day, but the fact is, by you bringing them up, you're trying to make the playoffs right now. Those young guys, Greg Allen, Estevan Florial, all those guys, they're gonna be trying to get a roster spot in the MLB for next season. They're gonna be going crazy. They're gonna be giving their 1,000%, and you know what? They could do way better than what Brett Gardner's doing right now. I've never seen a guy look at so many pitches right down the middle, and then he looks mad at the umpire like it's the umpire's fault. Brett Gardner, he doesn't have any more. I love the guy. He did a lot of great things with the Yankees, but even when you look at it, career-wise, he's a .256 career hitter. He never was known for his bat, but yet he's been in the MLB for 14 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things with the Yankees in their lineup and the things that they have. Like you said, start bringing up young guys and push. Those two young guys that pitched, the starter and the kid that came out in the 7th inning in Game 2 against Baltimore, they were throwing 100-mile-an-hour gas each. In making their major league debuts. That's an example of some young men that we could use. Bring
100%.
them up and use them. But for whatever reason, our analytical department's going to keep bouncing around and wanting to use other pitchers and other things. And it's just amazing to me to see the lineups we have and to see some of the pitching decisions we make. It just blows my mind. And there's no way that that's Aaron Boone, who is a lifelong 4th-generation baseball guy, who's making these decisions.
No way.
No way he's making, because he wasn't making these kinds of decisions when they were winning 100 games a year with him. So this has got to be something where the lineup card and pitching rotations, and in terms of who's pitching in what situations out of the bullpen, has got to be egged on or drawn up by the analytical department on who should be in what situation facing which kind of batters, rather than having your baseball manager who's been in the game his entire life make baseball decisions. Because it's driving me nuts watching this team. But those two young men that came up and pitched Game 2 of Baltimore, the starter and the first reliever, that's an example of how deep this minor league system is.
Yeah.
If you would just let baseball be played by the baseball people.
Exactly. Luis Gil, the minor leaguer that started for the Yankees in the Baltimore game, he's actually going to be pitching this Sunday, so they're bringing him back up, and I think that's going to be great. Overall, I think the biggest thing that worries me is the only reason why he was in the minors for so long is because he did not have great control. So it makes you wonder how his control will be against the Seattle Mariners. Of course, he did an amazing job against the Baltimore Orioles. He had a historic debut. But how is he going to be in his second start now? I think that's going to be the biggest thing. He may surprise us and allow a 4+ on 1, so maybe he's going to be lights out again.
No, I agree with you. I saw that his numbers when they showed him in the first inning of his start, and you can see he's definitely a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah.